I'm Belinda Sunshine. Welcome to When We Were Young. Now you must be wondering, what is this all about? Neither am I that young, neither am I that old. But anyway, this is a very special program showcasing musicians and singers of yesteryears. They will tell us their story, their musical journey, and their ups and downs, well, their successes and what have you. So I want you to join me. It's going to be a fantastic show, I can tell you. And you know something? I have today someone very special. He is one half of a very famous duo called Mel and Joe. You know, Mel and Joe actually won the hearts of thousands of people on television when they were really young teeny boppers, and they really stole the hearts, especially the women. So, stay tuned. I'm going to take you back to the time when they began, 1971.
This week, not one, but two very special guests. Two brothers who first appeared on Talent Time 12 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the year 1971,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mel and Joe.
Mel and Joe.
The famous Ferdinands!
In the year 1971, a 12-year-old Mel Ferdinands paired up with his 9-year-old brother Joe. The two boys decided to take part in the hit TV series Talent Time. To their surprise, they won the hearts of the judges and the viewers for their unique brand of music and were awarded the third prize. Following their success on RTS Talent Time, Mel and Joe joined the band Gypsy, formed by their other siblings Dixie, Don, and their friends Bianco and Janice. At the pinnacle of their career, Gypsy went on to release many hit songs such as Lonely Angel, Angel Fire, and these became a hallmark of Singapore's music culture. But everything has not always been smooth sailing for Gypsy. They had international competition, like the hit English rock band The Beatles. But this setback didn't stop Mel and Joe's passion for music. Today, 51 years after they shot to fame, thanks to Talent Time, they are still rocking and playing. Mel and Joe's legacy not only continues with their fans and supporters, but it also passed down to their children. Mel's daughter, Gabrielle, teams up with her father at concerts, and Joe's daughter, Natasha, follows in his footsteps. Their legacy continues with their offspring. People say music runs in the family. And for the Ferdinands, that is definitely true. Well, you can see that music runs in the Ferdinands family. And now, let's put our hands together and welcome the one and only Mel Ferdinands.
Hi, Belle.
Oh.
Good to see you.
Yes, come, sit down. We're going to have a chat. You know, it's been a long, long time since we last met up and we have a chat. And also, it's been a long, long time that I've heard you sing.
It's been a long time since I actually sang as well.
I know. Okay, now, let's go back, to the time when you and Joe, you were only 12 and Joe was only 9 years old. You became so famous. But at that age, how do you boys feel? I mean, does fame mean anything to you at all?
Well, actually, when we first took part in Talent Time, we didn't even realize it was a competition. We were just doing what we enjoyed doing. It was fun, going over to the old TV station in Thompson. And, I mean, like I said, chatting with everyone. And of course, because we were young, everybody sort of fawned over you or make sure you were okay. And it didn't, actually the entire series, the Talent Time series, it didn't hit me until they were announcing the results. And then suddenly, oh my gosh, we're in a competition, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
And then, I mean, as for fame, we never really thought about it. It was just
I
fun
suppose
thing.
at that age it's more for fun.
People recognize us, I suppose, but one of the funniest stories, actually, Joe will tell you, is that he went somewhere and this lady came up to him and says, I love you guys, you and your brother so much, I named my son after you.
And
I call him Mel.
Oh no!
And he was like, okay, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Short loss of memory,
Yeah,
perhaps.
it's okay,
Correct?
it's okay. I think also because when we were young, we did look very much alike. So people would often mistake us.
I remember your brother Dixie was also in the same batch.
That's right. He was then he was with his army colleague Sam.
Yep.
So they appeared as Sam Kwai and Lawrence Ferdinands.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, really awesome. Now, somehow that sort of paved the way and opened doors for both you and Joe.
Oh, well, most definitely.
Yes. And this passion in music, has continued all those years, Yeah.
It's something that you carry within you all your life, I suppose,
I know it's the same with Joe, I believe,
Oh,
because
yes,
when I
very
spoke
much
to
so,
him
yeah.
recently on the phone, he can't be here today, which is such a shame,
Yes.
He couldn't
He
get
wanted
away.
very much to, but unfortunately couldn't, yeah.
Okay. Now, both of you are still going on, singing and playing and what have you.
Yeah. And the good thing is as well, we also explore other avenues, like Joe does gigs with other artists as well, and I do that too. I also sing with my daughter. So it's, for us, it's a continual learning experience. I always feel like, there's never a stage where you can turn back and say, oh, I've learned all I can and that's
True.
it,
True.
Because I think life is all about learning.
Yeah. And I must say that it's a real fact, the whole family, they're also musically inclined, I remember Mel's sister, we were good friends in school. She was a classmate. And we all talk about music. And even till today, she's a mother. And she's so
Grandmother,
proud.
you
And grandmother, yes. Thanks for correcting, yes. And they still hold on, for this love of music which will never change their lives. In fact, your dad, Uncle Richard, he's also into music.
Oh yes, he still plays his harmonica even though he's
Okay.
99. He plays a bit of accordion whenever we force him to. Yeah, music's always been very important in our lives. I mean, growing
Yeah.
up, even to present day, my daughter just took to singing, and it was quite funny because when she was about 14, she was upset with me. She said, "Dad, why didn't you ever force me to learn how to play the guitar?"
Oh,
I said,
okay.
the whole idea of forcing someone to do anything, it's going to make you hate it afterwards, So
It should come naturally.
I'm glad that you decided you want to take it up, and I've always told you I'm here. If there's anything you want to learn, I'm here for you, That's always been my approach.
Brilliant. Now, when you left National Service, you joined your brother's group,
That's right.
Gypsy. And after that, Mel, after he finished
Joe,
his
you
national, sorry, Joe, yes.
See,
Mel,
you-
you
you-
see,
you-
I got mixed up. But anyway, all right. Mel, you started with to join Gypsy, with Dixie, Don and company.
Yeah.
Then after that, Joe followed, Now, what is it like, all of you, the brothers, the five of you, working in the same band, playing in the same band?
Well, I think the first thing it teaches you is a lot more patience, because I think it's very easy when you're working with strangers that you lose your temper and and you do get instances where people, egos get in the way, then sometimes, arguing because, you want to come out right. Sometimes it's not important whether you're right or not. I think it's important that the end result manifests itself, So, and I suppose being brothers, naturally there would be a hierarchy, elder brother, younger brother. But we were never made to feel that way because it was always very sort of democratic to a certain extent. Everybody had a voice. Everybody, could say something, could argue their points, and I think one of the advantages we had, even though that wasn't the main reason why we joined forces, but one of the advantages was that we could blend very well together.
Yes.
So the harmony was very easy. And there was Don, Dixie, and Joe joined us after 2 years because when I finished my national service, he had to go in.
Yep.
And there was another very close friend, we always consider him a brother as well, Bianco.
Bianco.
Yeah, so we started off as a 4-piece, then we went to 5. And the other advantage was everybody sang. So, there were different voices. We'd like to think it anyway that the people who came to watch us wouldn't get bored, because otherwise you listen to one voice, I suppose no matter how good, it is nothing like listening to different people singing in different voices. And again, it was also an advantage to have the harmony.
What are some of the high points, that you encountered while you were the band and your brothers and the working together among siblings and friends?
Well, most definitely the high points outnumber the low points. Otherwise, I would not have stuck into that career for as long as I did. Many high points, I think, certainly two that stand out were when they had their first Police and Friends concert, which was in the old Police Academy in Thompson Road. And we performed for that, and there were 50,000 people at least. And also President Wee Kim Wee at the time, right, was present. And we performed the song with the Singapore Police Pipers Band. So that was quite incredible. Then another high point was when we performed at the Padang. Right, I think it was called Light Up Singapore. So they were featuring all the top bands at the time. And there again there was about 50,000 people. So it's like playing to a huge crowd, and it doesn't hit you until you watch the playback and you think, oh my God, I can't see the end of the audience, So those were most definitely two highlights. And then again, I suppose having people come in and starting to request to hear your originals, because in those days, people were not very open to bands doing original music because first of all, in those days, you didn't have as many international artists coming to Singapore, right? We didn't have MTV either. So, when they wanted to hear a song, if they went to a club or a lounge or, somewhere and they saw a live band, they would want to hear that song. So, it also made us work very hard to push our level of musicality, our musicianship, that we could emulate those songs as best as we could.
Yes.
And I think, as much as a lot of people sometimes give you flack, oh, you only do covers, I think doing covers also helps you to realize your own full potential.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be a musician those days?
To be honest, it was something that I think we all just sort of naturally went into. I loved music from the time I can remember, probably before I could even talk, right? And, if my thinking was if you could touch someone, if you could reach out and touch someone and make them feel something, whether it was joy or, I didn't want anyone to have bad memories, but sometimes there are certain songs that make you remember times in your lives as well. And, we were getting paid to do something you love, so it was almost certainly a win-win situation. And again, as you said earlier on, music has opened up so many doors. Through performing, I had an opportunity to actually do recording work. So I met people like Tracy Huang and, some of the old superstars like Naomi and the Boys and the Quest and things like that. People that I grew up admiring. So for me, it was almost like, wow, So I've never had any regrets about embarking on that path.
Okay.
And to be honest, even till today,
No regrets at all.
I wouldn't have it any other way,
Okay.
even though,
Okay.
it's very different now.
I know.
I do understand and empathize with young people who want to pursue that path because it's very different. Now you don't have that kind of security and long-term contracts. Now it's like you perform in this club on one day and another club another day, and it's very hard to have a regular source of income. Secondly, it's also very hard to build a following because I never know where to go and watch you, you know. I mean, or even worse, it's too much to expect somebody to float around different clubs just to watch you perform.
Mel, what was it like, you know, being a musician in those days?
Well, it was very exciting, you know. I mean, because a lot of things that we take for granted today, we didn't have in those days. I mean, like, you go to most places now, the performers have got a monitor in front of them. They've got, you know, all these digital boards and gadgets and whatever. We didn't have any of that. You know?
Yeah.
We had to sort of play and, you know, sort of gauge from the speakers on left and right how we
cute
sounded.
ones,
And
yes,
and
yes.
worse still, when you're doing harmony, you know, you had to know how far away from the mic you had to be. We didn't have sound men in those days,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of the sounds that you get today, which are easily reproduced through a single stomp box or pedal, we had to scratch our heads and try and find out how to get it, you know? Because also in terms of equipment, we were always slightly behind other parts of the world where they were produced. So it was challenging, it was interesting, it was fun. And also on the other side is because of, there was a lot of TV coverage, there was a lot of radio programs and stuff. So people who didn't go to clubs and pubs, they also knew about you. You know, they could recognize you, and so you always had to be at your best behavior. Always had to be well dressed as well.
Yeah, and you have lots of screaming fans every time when you have a concert, I remember, because I attended a lot of your concerts those days, you know. Can I ask a simple question?
Sure.
Has anybody thrown any lingerie at you guys when you're performing on
No.
stage, you know,
No.
that time?
No, I mean, that thought never crossed our mind. But I tell you what was really funny, you know, going back to when people used to mistake Joe and myself
Yep.
and get mixed up. There was one place we were working at where somebody called. In those days, they didn't have mobile phones,
Yes.
right? So they called the club wanting to speak to the tallest member of the band, so which was me. So I went in and spoke to this person. Oh, hi, can I get to know you? And I was like, okay, this is very strange because I never get calls like that, right? Honestly. So we started talking then, and she said, oh, I saw you in this TV show and I love the way you're wearing your white outfit. I said, that's not me, right? I said, I think you mean my brother Joe. And then, of course, afterwards, I realized because of the camera angle, he did look like he was a lot taller. So I said, I'm the one with the beard. And then there was silence on the line. Right? So I say, okay, hang on, I'll call Joe. So we had a good laugh about that, you know. Yes, so there were people who, you know, I sort of were quite keen to get to know members of the band. And again, like I said, because there were 5 of us, everyone very individual in their own right and everyone having their own look and sound. So we had quite a wide and varied following, which I suppose worked to our benefit without us actually trying to orchestrate or choreograph that.
I've got something here which I've been trying so hard to get for the last few years.
Well, it has been out of print for a while.
Yeah, and you know something? You personally gave it to me. And I remember what you wrote here. Remember this?
Yeah.
That's right. Mel and Joe, the book, is something to be treasured because you can't get it anywhere else now. And you're willing to buy my copy?
You can still get it off the library if you want to read it.
Yeah, Mel and Joe, I play and sing. Hey, Mel, are you going to sing a song for me today?
Well, if you want me to.
Oh, but did you bring a guitar?
Never leave home without it.
Oh, that's cool. We're going to join him for a performance right now. Hey, can I have the mic?
Day after day and night after night, it's always the same, but still you say it's alright. You can always tell I've been lying and cheating again. When you say you love me, I wonder why you do, even though I've done the things that I shouldn't do. 'Cause deep down inside I know I cause you sorrow and pain. So tell me, why do you still love me? 'Cause I'm trying hard to understand. You
Oh, that was really fantastic. Awesome is the word.
Thank you.
We will decide whether they get the chance to listen to it.
Okay, I'll leave it in your good hands.
Thanks so much, Mel. I really love you. You just played and sing for me. And remember, out there, if you need a copy of his book, Play and Sing, go to the nearest store or buy it from Amazon.
And if you really can't get it, go to the library.
Correct. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
really a great pleasure having you here in our studio.
Thank you for having me.
And for this program, When We Were Young. And so, on behalf of everybody in the studio who has worked so hard for this program, and especially to my guest, Mel Ferdinands of Mel and Joe, I'm Belinda Sunshine and
Mel.
saying goodbye.
Bye.